Hi, I'm Billy Walker. I'm the master blender at the GlenAllachie distillery.
And hi, I'm Ronan Curry. I'm the assistant blender here at GlenAllachie. And today we're going to talk about our new series, the sherry series that we have. And today we're going to talk through our Fino, Amontillado and Oloroso and explain a little bit about the maturation techniques, the styles and why we've come to do it.
Yeah, look, it's really, this whole project, if you can call it a project, is intriguing. Over many years, we personally have focused a lot on the influence of PX and Oloroso sherry casks in the process of maturation. And we just wanted to showcase just what can happen when you are more experimental and move into the other styles of sherry cask. And we can talk, essentially we're going to talk about part one of the experience, which will be the Fino, the Amontillado and the Oloroso. But there's more to come. There will be a series involving Manzanilla, Policatado, which is fascinating in itself, and much more to talk about that in the future, and of course PX. But the whole journey is intriguing in the sense that we've chosen casks historically that have been started their life, maturation life in fresh American barrels, and then they're moving on now into these interesting, intriguing different styles of sherry casks. And the outcome is we try and anticipate what we're doing. We think that the science tells us, the instinct tells us, and intuitively it tells us where the journey should end up. But there are one or two surprises in what we actually have experienced. But it's important to understand that a lot of the flavour contribution, of course, comes from the process of making whiskey, fermentation process and the distillation process, and that forms the building blocks of the next journey, which is the maturation journey. The American casks, the fresh American barrels are, of course, they are toasted and charred, and so the expectation is, the science tells us that what is happening with the heat interaction with the wood. So we're going to get the breakdown of the celluloses, the lignins, the lipids, and the tannins, and that explains a lot of things that will happen. You'll get vanilla, you'll get coconut, you'll get apples, pears, you'll get butterscotch, honey. So that's already a given. That's in the spirit before we move into the sherry part of the experience.
So start with the Fino. So we're starting with the Fino. So Fino is, and we'll speak about it because it starts getting a little bit different under Amontillado, but Fino is matured fully under your veil of yeast or your flora, which creates a biological aging.
And excludes oxygen.
Excludes the oxygen, which produces lots of different flavour styles and creates traditionally quite a dry sherry. But I think what we've found with maturing in ex-Fino casks is it's not created a very dry, finished whiskey. It's lots of fruit, lots of sort of butterscotch, nutmeg coming through.
For me personally, it's a real surprise. My expectation was that, and I'm not sure that's something I was welcoming, was that you would have a much drier mouthfeel. And the reality is that's not the experience. I mean, on the nose we're getting marzipan, hazelnuts. So of course you've got the basket of pears, apples, orchard fruits. And there's no great with Fino, we don't expect to see the kind of the dark cherries, the kind of huge influence of, say, dark chocolate or mocha. It's a much more refined, maybe that's the wrong word, but it's a less intense flavour profile than you get with when you're out.
And further down the scale.
And what's really interesting about sherry casks, and I suppose we could say the same about wine casks, but we're focusing on sherry casks here, is that sherry casks are not charred. So you can be comfortable in terms of how long you want to leave the whiskey in these casks, and they will go through a whole series of milestones. And definitely, I was going to say almost certainly, but definitely will not overcook. They will just move from one phase of flavour development into the next phase and into the next phase. So working with sherry casks is, it's a pleasure.
Well, on the palate, I think you are really getting that sort of, as you say, the sort of bouquet of orchard fruits coming through, baking spices, a little bit of ginger, nutmeg in there. The Fino and the ex-American oak really working well together and producing a really sort of fruity butterscotch driven.
Yeah, and these Fino casks will be European oak, so you will expect it. And what you get, and certainly what I'm getting, and this can change from day to day, the time you're tasting, how your palate is, but I would say that the spice dimension on the Fino is significantly higher than perhaps in the PX and the Oloroso. I'm picking up things like bergamot, cardamom, ginger, cinnamon, and that's good because it's an exciting part of the tasting experience that we wanted to deliver into the kind of spectrum of what we're doing. But it's not overpowering, reasonably well balanced and developing, and this one's worked pretty well. What we can say is, look, we're very aware of the sherry heritage, and it's very important that the casks that we source are coming from the appropriate part of Spain that carries a sherry status and is certificated, and our suppliers who are big players in the industry, and we're very happy to be working with them. Miguel Martin and Juan Pino are just such good customers and so reliable, and they never disappoint in terms of the quality of the cask that they supply us.
Move on to the Amontillado. So Amontillado, a slightly different process when creating the sherry. It goes between biological and oxidative aging. So it goes under the yeast layer. So it starts its life as a Fino, and then initially would have probably been broken by accident, and that is then killed off the yeast. It's fortified to slightly higher ABV within the cask, completely removes the sort of yeast layer, and then allows for oxidative aging. So you start getting a lot more sort of deeper fruit flavours, more to not as far as Oloroso, but you're starting to move off in that direction.
They're certainly close cousins in terms of where they sit in the sherry spectrum. The Amontillado cask are casks that I haven't had great experience working with. So it's nice to just see how the whiskey is interacting and infusing with the sherry casks. Classically, in terms of flavour profile, it's in the same territory as a Fino. The profiling is on the nose is similar, hazelnuts, nutmeg, spices. Of course, you're getting the kind of a collection of orchard fruits, pears, apples, hints of gooseberries. But again, a big player, if not a hugely influential, you're picking up these spices again. You're picking up cardamom, you're picking up ginger, you're picking up orange peel, bergamot oil. If you know Earl Grey tea, maybe somewhere in there you can relate to that kind of experience. And that's quite important in trying to identify. I mean, tasting is such a complicated process. It's trying to get your mouth and your brain to recognise something that you've related or reacted to in the past. But this is on the nose, perfect. The level of spirit, there are no spirit notes in here, in spite of the strength we're bottling at. There are no spirit notes in here. It's really, really well balanced. And again, you can pick up the nuances of what was happening in the American oak casks and what is the experience now in the Amontillado. You know, you're getting marzipan, you're getting, nutmeg, hazelnuts, all the fruits. And listen, there are hints of dark chocolate and mocha beginning to appear. And that's
flirting with that sort of flavour profile.
And and you can see why it's moving in the direction that we're travelling. The direction of travel is interesting. It's moving towards the centre and maybe out further out a wee bit. But listen, again, as a series of casks that I have not a lot of experience with, no disappointment whatsoever.
You're getting you're getting a little bit of that sort of soft touch of dark chocolate, a little bit of sort of brown sugar, toasted brown sugar, very orchard fruit driven.
And the science and the instinct are coming together very nicely here.
When you were saying that the Fino was maybe a little bit of a surprise in the way it's matured, is the Amontillado, is it went in the direction that you were sort of...
Having seen what the Fino delivered, this is going to now this is what I would expect. They're beautifully rounded. You know, this has got from front to back wonderfully well balanced, nice experience. Doesn't leave you, continues for a while. Yeah, this has worked well.
So we're now looking at the Oloroso. So we've now went from no oxidative aging, slight oxidative aging, to Oloroso, which is full oxidative aging. So the sherry in the cask is fully interacting with the oxygen in the cask as well, which starts to develop these very sort of, what you would say, maybe more traditional sherry-like flavours when you think about it. Lots of chocolate, orange peel, dried berries.
Mocha. But big experience, and the intensity of the influence of the Oloroso casks is huge. And again, these casks are sherry casks are. They move from one phase of the maturation to the next phase. So again, it's unlikely, unless you get very unlucky, that you can overcook in Oloroso. When I started using sherry casks many years ago, I kind of was on the right side of PX in my head. Today I am absolutely much more on the side of Oloroso casks. I think what they deliver is just fantastic.
Again, serves at 48% with no, and we'll never add colour or chill filter to any of our whiskies. We're serving it slightly higher at 48%. A really big hazelnut, chocolate, orange peel on the nose.
And there's, you know, in the back and the aftertaste, you've got these terrific spices coming through. You've got cinnamon, ginger, bergamot, cardamom. And a lot of this, you know, if you look at the science of it and the process of what we do with the wood, and I know the sherry casks are not charred, but they are heated. So the process of the reaction between the heat and the wood starts a degenerative process in terms of, and particularly on the tannins. And so you're picking up across all these kind of cellular, molecular products in the wood, you're picking up all kinds of really nice flavours now. Coconut, vanilla, eugenol from the tannins. Yeah, look, this is a really fantastic whiskey. They all are, but as you expect, the Oloroso has moved in the direction we expected, maybe even more than we expected. Dangerous.